Good morning, my name is Tom, and after a several week hiatus, I'm back, and we're starting off with a political video on why your vote matters, even if you believe both candidates are garbage. To illustrate it, we're going to the whiteboard. Now, this is Supreme Court Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas. Obviously, they're not running for office. If you've actually read the Constitution, then you understand when you are appointed to the federal bench, that appointment is for life. The two ways out of it are, generally speaking, retirement or you pass away. Now, Samuel Alito is 74, and Clarence Thomas is 71. Also, Clarence Thomas is reportedly in terrible health. Now, we already know that the extreme conservative majority on the Supreme Court is in place. It's I believe, 6-3 margin. And these are two of the most extreme conservatives you will ever come across. And Garen is here to help us. All right, so why does the presidential election matter? Well, let's say Donald Trump is elected. These two can retire, and Trump can appoint people in their early to mid-30s, and you'll have two more extremist conservative justices sitting on the bench for the next 30 to 40 years. Now, let's say Kamala Harris is elected president. They're not going to retire. Clarence Thomas, he might end up, passing away given his health issues, and Kamala Harris might get to appoint his replacement, in which case the conservative extremist majority becomes 5-4 instead of 6-3. There are attorneys throughout the U.S. who are actively avoiding arguing their cases before the Supreme Court and looking for strategies to keep themselves out of the Supreme Court because of that majority, because the fix is in. The merits of their case do not matter. They will lose. So let's talk about their views. If you are in favor of abortion, you already know these two guys are not your friends. If you are in favor of in vitro fertilization, once again, they are not your friends. In fact, Samuel Alito coined the term fetal personhood. When you go through IVF, if you go with a strict Christian reading of the I knew you from conception part, that means all of the discarded fertilized eggs, which is a necessary part of IVF, every single one of them is an abortion, and he wants that outlawed. Clarence Thomas, hell, he wants the Supreme Court to revisit its past rulings on birth control. Access to things like condoms, or the pill, or, an IUD. I keep trying to not say IED. He wants the Supreme Court to review whether or not you have a right to get birth control. All right, LGBTQIA issues. Yeah, they don't like you. They really, really don't like you. Now, when it comes to all that stuff, when it's IVF and LGBTQ people, maybe your church, doesn't say it. Maybe your church says you have to love gay people the same way you love straight people. And maybe your church doesn't see IVF through the lens that, they do. They don't go to your church. In fact, they would probably get hit by lightning or set on fire if they cross the threshold. Now, what about, just basic safety, labor rights? Are you allowed to make a complaint that your boss is running an unsafe job in violation of federal law Should your job be protected? Should you be protected from retaliation? No, they don't believe that. They support the crooked bosses that will fire you. Do they think you have the right, you and your coworkers, to get together and try to negotiate a better wage? Or, how safety should be structured in the workplace? No, they're absolutely against that. So, they're anti, workplace safety laws. They're anti-union organization. They're anti-queer people. They're anti-IVF. One of them's openly anti-birth control. They're anti-abortion. And so maybe I may disagree on some points with Kamala Harris, but I think maybe it's a better option than the alternative. Maybe you think both candidates are garbage, and you have every right to think that. But the presidency goes beyond the individual holding the office. And it's important to consider these things because the next 40 years depends on it. It's not just 4 years, it's 40. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. And have a great day.